History, language, culture, mentality. Experts, activists, and concerned citizens' opinions on what it means to be a Belarusian. Identity.
Welcome back. Arseny Anderson is at the mic for you. Today we decided to touch on a topic that at first glance has nothing to do with identity. We will talk with the professors of the Belarusian State University about the classical languages, Latin and Ancient Greek. They're far from dead languages. Moreover, they are more alive than ever. They permeate Belarusian and Russian languages. And since it is impossible to conceive anything outside language, the study of classical languages is extremely important for understanding the spirit of Belarusian culture. And in Belarus, there are extremely few experts of the kind today. It is one of the rarest professions. We will talk about classical philology with the head of the chair of classical philology of BSU, Olga Prokopchuk.
Identity.
Классическая филология занимается изучением древнегреческого и латинского языков.
Classical philology is engaged in the study of ancient Greek and Latin languages. About 100 years ago and earlier, acquaintance with them was firmly part of the school system. Then the practice ceased. What happened?
Начало нового времени школьное образование было сосредоточено.
In the late Middle Ages, the Renaissance, early modern times, education was concentrated in church schools, and naturally Latin and Greek were the foundation of school and university education of those times. Latin in Western Europe and Greek in Byzantium, except for its early period where Latin also dominated, were the languages of the church, jurisprudence, diplomacy, literature, and science. This means that any educated person a priori should have mastered Latin and Greek in order to advance to the ranks on the literary and scientific path. Only in the 17th century, when national languages prevailed in the state and diplomatic sphere, did Latin and Greek begin to gradually give way to them in education. But by this time, Latin with ancient Greek are already classical languages of Europe. Those are languages with the maximum socio-cultural value of the text written on them and the significance of religious tradition, so the history of teaching these languages does not stop even in modern times. If we talk about secondary school education in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, then I would note that Latin still had a very strong position, but only in classical gymnasiums. Those had an 8-year term of study and gave the right to enter the university, since they studied Latin. But in real gymnasiums, with a 4-year term of study, Latin was not studied, but graduation from them did not give the right to enter the university. Thus, transition to secular education, then promotion of natural science, and then the Soviet period with its emphasis on industrialization and building of the communist world, lost classical languages from high school. However, humanities, ancient studies, Latin and ancient Greek in university were, and I hope always will be, relevant.
Для чего современному человеку было бы интересно и полезно?
Why would people today be interested in learning ancient Greek and Latin?
Если вы хотите понять суть какого-либо явления.
I always tell my students, if you want to understand the essence of a phenomenon, you must go to the roots, at fontes. If you want to become a good historian, you will have to read the original text from antiquity, the Middle Ages, the Renaissance. If one's a lawyer, then understanding of the origins of European and Slavic law will work only in conjunction with Roman and Byzantine law. In medicine and biology, all new and old terms are based on Latin and Greek. Latin is essential for a linguist studying Western European languages because the key to understanding many grammatical, phonetic, and lexical phenomena in them lies in Latin. In Slavic languages, there are also a huge number of words of Latin origin. Understanding ancient Greek, you will easily understand the meaning of the words epidemic and pandemic, and you will not minimize the danger of coronavirus. The Greek prefix epi has a meaning on, and the root demos meaning people. That is, an epidemic is a widespread of infection among people. Pan in Greek is everything, connected again with the word demos, people, literally means that it is an epidemic disease that has swept all nations and all countries. By the way, the word coronavirus has 2 Latin roots. The Latin word virus has the meaning of poison, and the Latin root corona is added because in appearance the virus resembles the solar corona because of the spiky sprouts.
Возможно ли возродить изучение этих языков сегодня?
Is it possible to revive the study of these languages in today's school? And is it necessary?
Очень полезно сделать на уровне школьных факультативов.
I believe it would be very useful at the level of school electives. Expanding the horizons of the young generation would subsequently give a breakthrough for the formation of the highly intellectual elite of society. Latin and ancient Greek train the brain no worse than mathematics. They develop logical thinking, teach to hover over the text, see it as a cartographer oversees a plan of the area and dissected as a medic. This clarity of thought is then transferred to the study of other sciences, as well as the ability to analyze any scientific and social phenomena.
Как вы уже частично сказали, на древнегреческом
Ancient and medieval literature and philosophy are written in ancient Greek and Latin. These languages were used in the Renaissance and early modern period. For anyone interested in these strata of culture, is it important to know these languages and read the text in the original? After all, much has already been translated into modern national languages. Is it worth to spend time studying ancient Greek and Latin?
Конечно, чтобы читать в оригинале Гомера и Горация.
Of course, in order to read Homer and Horace, Plato and Seneca, Septuagint and Vulgate, Erasmus of Rotterdam's Praise of Stupidity, and Nikolai Gosovsky's Song of the Bison in the original, you will have to spend a lot of time studying ancient Greek and Latin. However, it's totally worth it. The translation can accurately convey the meaning of the work, but it will not convey the nuances, shades of linguistic meanings, the unique play of words. Language features of a specific author can be felt only by reading the original version.
Есть ли шанс у тех, кто знает древнегреческий и латынь,
Is there a chance for those who, knowing ancient Greek and Latin, will try to go through the largest possible area of the original texts, to read them in a completely new way and open any new secrets, or no more surprises are to be expected?
Каких неожиданностей стоит ждать? Вы вдруг откроете аллюзии.
They are in for some big surprises. There are allusions, reminiscences. You will understand how the previous literary tradition influenced the author, or why, for example, it was this author who turned out to be an innovator. Sometimes you can even reveal the secret that this is a pseudo-author. For example, for a long time, one rhetorical treatise called Rhetoric for Herennius was attributed to Cicero, and then, on the basis of references from Quintilian, it was suggested that it was not written by Cicero, but perhaps by someone Cornificius. But this point of view is controversial, and it is rejected. Perhaps you will be the one who, after reading the pseudo-Cicero's Rhetoric for Herennius as closely as possible, and comparing it with a huge area of ancient rhetorical texts and comments to them, put forward a new hypothesis about the authorship of this treatise.
какие университеты мира сегодня лидируют в изучении?
What universities in the world today lead in the study of ancient Greek and Latin? Where have schools been preserved and developed?
Гарвардский университет, Лейпцигский университет.
Harvard University, University of Leipzig, Cambridge University, all these are classical universities with a rich history and traditions. From neighboring countries, it's Moscow Lomonosov State University, St. Petersburg State University, and Warsaw University. Our department works closely with the Department of Classical Philology of Moscow State University and with the Department of Liberal Arts of the University of Warsaw.
Какое место изучение этих языков занимает?
What place does the study of these languages occupy in the countries of the former USSR, and in particular in Belarus? Where can students study ancient Greek and Latin more or less thoroughly and professionally?
Специалистов по латинскому и древнегреческому языкам и античной литературе.
In Soviet times, classical philologists were trained only in Moscow, Leningrad, Lviv, and Tbilisi. Later in the 90s, when Belarus gained independence, there was a need for its own department. Later in the 90s, when Belarus gained independence, there was a need for its own faculty. So in 1995, the Department of Classical Philology was founded at the Belarusian State University. By the way, this year in September, we will celebrate the 25th anniversary of the department. For quarter century, we were able to take a worthy place among the schools of classical philology in the post-Soviet space. Our department maintains international contacts with universities in Greece, Poland, Ukraine, and Russia. It's the only department in Belarus where students can attain the corresponding degree. Students are enrolled once every 4 years. These are future teachers of Latin, ancient Greek languages, and ancient literature. They are rare and unique experts. Knowledge of modern Greek and English helps them to be more in demand on the labor market. By the way, the Office of Greek Philology, recently opened at the department, contributes to the effective training of specialists in modern Greek, for which we are grateful to the Honorary Consulate of Greece. Our graduates teach at the Humanities Department of the leading educational institutions in the country, at medical universities and colleges. They also work in the rare book departments at the National Library, the Scientific Library of the National Academy of Sciences of Belarus, and the National Archive. That is, where Latin and ancient Greek experts are in demand.
Хорошо, и наш традиционный вопрос.
Our traditional question: what does it mean for you to be a Belarusian? and I would expand it in the context of today's topic, how an in-depth study of ancient Greek and Latin would help to better understand Belarusian culture and its worthy place in European and world culture.
Быть белорусом или белорусской
To be Belarusian means to love your motherland, to be a patriot, to value your Belarusian culture, literature, and traditions. It may sound strange at first glance, but personally, my knowledge of Latin and Greek helps me to be Belarusian and be proud of the fact that I am Belarusian. After all, Belarusians can rightfully be proud of the richest Latin language literature of the Renaissance, which is unfortunately little studied. Every Belarusian knows the names of, for example, Nikolai Gosovsky, Jan Wislicki, but only a few read these works in the original. Accordingly, knowledge of Latin helps to become more familiar with the new Latin literature of the Grand Duchy of Lithuania, because many works have not been translated as of today. In addition, many official documents of the Grand Duchy are written in Latin. It is clear that without good knowledge of Latin, it is not possible to study them. It would be nice to know the ancient Greek literature, first of all because it, like Latin, influenced the development of Slavic languages, including Belarusian, through ancient and Christian cultures and scripture texts.
Большое спасибо за интересную беседу.
Identity.
Today we talked with Volha Prokopchuk about classical languages. You can listen to the program at any time on the YouTube channel Cultural Panorama of Radio Belarus in the Identity playlist. Arseny Anderson was with you. Same time next week.
Identity.